Look who came to visit. What do you think of all this? Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. My name's Rob and today we're going to be doing a direct editing exercise. That is, we're going to be editing a model without a feature history. And this will come up if someone sends you a file from a different CAD system and can't give you the parametric file. They'll save it out to what's known as a dumb solid, a file with no history. While you get the surface information, that can be kind of difficult to edit. So let's do a little exercise here on how we can deal with that. Over here in GrabCAD, I have found this lovely hat made by Jinhao Song, and I hope I said your name correctly. But I really like this hat, and I'm going to use it in order to pitch to one of my friends a design for his hat with his logo on it. So while this hat is really nice, it has this S logo on it. And if I look down here, it only comes in Parasolid, which is X_T, and step file. Let's go ahead and open up the file. Alright, so our first choice. There is two dumb solids here. There is a step file, and then there is a Parasolid file, X_T. Which one do you choose? Well, if you use SOLIDWORKS as your main modeling program, you choose the Parasolid file. The reason being is that SOLIDWORKS files are built on the Parasolid modeling kernel, and SOLIDWORKS files are basically just Parasolid files with an extra fancy bit of information on top. So when you import a Parasolid file, there's barely any translation that's going on, and that prevents import errors. You know, stuff like open surfaces, sliver faces, knife edges, things of that nature. So Parasolid it is. Let's go ahead and open this up. And here we will be met with our first question. Do you want to run import diagnostics on this part? I hit yes to this question always, because if there is a bad face, bad edge, you definitely want to find that out as soon as possible before you've done any real work to fix them, rather than down the line and you're just kind of stuck. And here we have a couple of faulty faces. It says the indicated face pierces through the solid, and it's pointing out this face here. Alright, so hopefully I'll be able to just hit attempt to heal all, and that'll be the last we'll hear from them. So let's see what that does. Alright, so it appears that we are successful in this. So I'll hit OK and let's proceed. Not with feature recognition. So this is the second question you're met with. Do you want to proceed with feature recognition? I always hit no. This is when SOLIDWORKS tries to guess what features make up your part. And it doesn't work as well when there's complicated surfaces like the bill of this cap. So I'm just gonna decline that. But taking a look at it, yeah, you can see it's constructed quite simply. It's got a bit of an interesting surface over here. So something I want to check, if I go to evaluate curvature, this will allow me to assess what kinds of surfaces are present in my model. So the way this works is, if a surface is curved with a certain radius, that will receive one color. What this means is, if you see any surface that's a solid color, that indicates that that is a surface of constant radius. In other words, a cylinder or a sphere. So looking at here, you can even tell, because if I hover my mouse, I'll get some numbers, and that is indicating the radius of curvature at that particular point. So you see I'm moving my mouse around, that number isn't changing at all, and it's all one solid color. That says to me that these surfaces here are spherical all the way around, and the same thing with this S. It's probably an offset of sorts, because it appears to be slightly different. So you can see this was constructed with perhaps a swept surface, a loft, maybe even a boundary surface of some kind, because it's got this constantly changing curvature. But when we get to the middle, we see that there's this block of solid color. So what this says to me is that this was modeled by modeling one half of this bill. Then it was mirrored over to the other side, and it left a sharp corner here. So a fillet was applied to smooth that out. And so we get the geometry shown here. So in order to get rid of this S, I'm going to try something really simple first. So this is kind of a Hail Mary play, but sometimes it works and it saves a lot of time when it does. So I'm going to go to my delete face, and I'm gonna make sure that show selection toolbar is enabled and click right on the S, and then here's the selection toolbar. I'll click this all surrounding. So what this does is that not only does it select that top S, but it selects all the walls that are of the embossed, which is something I want to delete. So if I set this to delete and patch, what that does is it removes those surfaces and then it patches them with surrounding geometry. So ideally, if this works well, it should be like the S got never applied. So let's just hit OK and see what that wants to do. All right, we get rebuild errors, cannot be patched due to the geometry condition. And this is to be expected, actually. It's a little bit complicated, especially with these stitches. In order to get around this, we're gonna have to take a more manual approach. I'll just hit delete just to get rid of those surfaces, and we'll proceed from there. So it deleted those faces, and now what we're looking at is the back face, or the inside of the hat as seen from the outside. I'm looking through the thickness since this is now a surface model. And actually, a way to make this easier to tell is let's color the faces. So if I go into my beach ball, I'll add an appearance. Let's do like a light blue or something like that. But instead of this whole cap, I'll select, whoops. I'll select these faces here. All right, so now whenever we see blue, that means that we're looking in the inside of the hat, and that is something that we need to patch. So far, so good. All right, so let's take a closer look at what it did here. So immediately I noticed some weird geometry. So this seems to be the result of a regular circular sweep, and so is this one on the right here. This middle one, however, I don't know what's up with that. Oh, look at that. I don't know why this is different, but yeah, you can see it here. This was swept with this weird V shape. I don't really understand the design decision behind this, but yeah, I'm not sure if I like that. I might even replace that. Yeah, I might actually have to take all of this stuff out. So let's try something here. We know that this is a spherical surface. So let me see if I can just remove this entire patch and then patch it with a brand new spherical surface. So yeah, let's get a sphere first. So in order to get that, I will copy this surface with the offset command, set it to a distance of 0, and hit OK. From here, I'm going to hide the surface away. And you can do that by just hovering over and hitting tab. That hides things away. Yeah, now we have this sector of a spherical surface with some holes cut out. And we'll fix that with untrimmed surface. All right, so I have it set to 100%. Should cover all of those. Yeah, I didn't quite do the whole thing, but I'm just gonna apply it again. And maybe one more time. All right, that seems to have restored our sphere. And if I show the other body, you can see how this fits in perfectly with the hat. All right. So now what I'm gonna do, I'm probably gonna replace this entire patch here in the front. And that's because I think these stitches are gonna get in the way of me applying my own custom logo. So that's the other thing. I'm looking to apply my own custom logo here. So I need this clear, and then I can apply the stitches afterwards with my own sweeps. So let's do this. I'm gonna launch the delete face command again. Oops, let me hide the spherical surface. That's just in the way. All right. So our goal is to get a patch that is as clean as possible. Yeah, we're gonna get rid of all of these. Wow, this is not good geometry. I'm not sure what was the design decision behind that. Yeah, it looks like I'm gonna have to take these stitches out too, because if I leave it like that, there's gonna be this weird sharp thingy. But I can add those back again. All right, that seems to be going all right. Add these in here. And these. All right, there should be an end face here too. Oh gosh. Yeah, it's really deep in there. Yeah, this was not modeled with the best of technique. Alright, so I deleted those. It left some stuff over, but we can actually take care of that. If I specify the hat, which seems to be this body, and the sphere, right click, delete keep bodies, and say we want to keep those. And if I left any small pieces behind, it should be able to take care of those. So again, the important thing in order to get this hat back into ship shape is that we need to have the patch as clean as possible. So let's take a look around. Alright, so we've got some little doodads here that we need to fix. Let me see if untrimmed surface will take care of that. Whoops. Alright, let me get my edge filter. Sometimes those edges can be a little bit squirrely. Let's get the other side. That looks pretty good. Let's see if SOLIDWORKS wants to go through with it though. Alright, and that seems to have been patched up very nicely. Let me turn off the filter. There's also this little triangle shape thing. I think it's big enough. Yeah, I think this is big enough that it won't really mess with anything. But if it throws errors, that's going to be one of the first places I'll look. And of course, on the opposite side. Oh, here's another one of those things. On trim. And there's likely one on the other side. So let's take care of that. All right, we're all patched up there. So let's... Yeah, more stuff over here, but what's this line? Oh, that's kind of strange. That must have been from that V-shaped sweep. It created this face when it cut into it. Well, I'm just going to delete that. And unable to delete the selected face. Is it this? Can I delete these two? No. That's pretty strange. Although, can I delete all of these? So still no. It does not like something about that particular... Yeah, let me just surround this face entirely. There's something about how that is put together that is making SOLIDWORKS very, very sad. Alright, so I think a technique that I'll do here is that I'll delete around it, and that'll leave an extra body, and I should be able to take care of that with body delete. Let me get out of there. Alright, so that took a little while to rebuild. So what I'm going to do, let's first save this part. I should have done that earlier. Just go ahead and do that. Just got to commit it to disk. And then now what I'll do is I'll go into my options. Let's do this. If I go into my options and I'm looking, oh, here it is, enable freeze bar. So what this does is that if I hit OK, this orange bar appears here. And if I drag it down on top of features, it prevents those from rebuilding again. So everything is how we like it, and we just want to move forward. It'll prevent these from being rebuilt if I hit Control Q. So that should make the performance a little bit better. But anyway, back to the challenge at hand. We need to get that little tab out of there. That's going to cause us some problems. I don't like it. Let's see here. Let's just copy a whole bunch of this stuff over here. So definitely want this surface. And if I'm going to delete around it, I'm going to have to copy the surrounding surfaces, of course. Just like that. I think that should work just fine. So I hit copy. Alright, so we have our sphere, we have our copied surface. Let's hide that away. I meant the other one. Yeah, let me do the other one. There we go. And now let's just delete all around it, all around the garbage. So delete face. See, can I exclude that? Okay, so it worked. Yes, and now we have two separate bodies. We have this one, the garbage face, and then we have everything else. Or the garbage body, I guess I should say. So let me do delete body. And haha, it's gone. So now with my copy, so that's the exact same geometry, I can go and knit these back together. So let me go to my surfaces, knit surface, and I should be able to pop that right back, pop that in. Okay, so that has resolved itself, but now I need to do yet another surface untrim. And let me move my freeze bar a little bit forward. Untrim, do this, click on that. Yeah, make sure you have connect endpoints. That's how it knows to like patch that over, and just let it work its magic. All right, that seems to have resolved itself very nicely, actually. And now what we can do, yeah, I think this is clean enough for us to use a patch. Again, this is a questionable area, but we'll see if it gives us any problems. So right now I have a hat with a bunch of faces removed and a sphere. So now I need to cut the sphere perfectly to fit that patch. And the way I'm going to do that is with a sketch. So let me hide the sphere again, and I'm going to sketch on the top plane. Yeah, I'm preparing a sketch for a surface trim. And in the sketch, I can actually right-click on an open edge, say select open loop. It should grab all the relevant edges so you don't have to pick them one by one. Convert entities. And there it is. Same thing with this, because I need the face to be cut out to match up with these holes. So I'll click on that, convert, and I'll rinse and repeat for the last one, making sure I actually grab the blue open edge. All right, and that looks pretty good. We have all that stuff that matches up with our geometry perfectly. And now for the actual cut. So I can hide the hat away and bring back our sphere. So this trim should work as long as this thing is completely bounded. That is, there's no sketch geometry hanging out on the outside. And that seems to be the case. Let me check up here. All right, so we got a little triangle thing, but again, we'll just keep an eye on it. It's on the watch list. And actually, let me move this forward. There we go. Surface trim. Trim surface. Let me try a standard with a sketch. And keep selections. All right, that seems to have worked very nicely. If I hit OK, yeah, now we're left with this surface that's in the perfect shape of our patch, including over here. All right, so this is working out nicely. Let's go ahead and see if I can knit this and even turn this into a solid. It should be ready for being turned into a solid. All right, and that seems to have worked. It's left this edge behind, but let me see if I can fix that here. There's this merge entities box, so let's see what that wants to do. All right, perfect. So yeah, the triangle face didn't even matter. This is awesome. I'm gonna save. I'm very happy with that. And now let's go bring our logo in. So I've prepared the logo on a different SOLIDWORKS part. I traced it and turned it into a SOLIDWORKS block. So that means I can just start a sketch, in this case on the right plane, and I'll just do a command search for insert, if I can spell, insert block, insert, there we go, insert block. I have no blocks open, but I can browse for it. Alright, so here's my SOLIDWORKS block. Hit OK. And there's my logo that I want to apply. You can see it's way, way too big. So I can just go down here and fix that up. Click to place and click OK. And now let's get this in place. If I hit Control H to bring me normal 2, I can set it something like that. I think that'll be good. I'm very satisfied with that. Alright, and actually, before I apply this logo here, what I want to do to this hat is, it's a little bit too perfectly spherical for my taste. I think it would look a little bit better if it was a little bit more narrow. And the easy way that I'll attempt to do that is with the scale tool. So let me go here, scale. It's a mold tool, but I use it so infrequently that I just search for it. So here's scale. You scale things up and down by a certain value, but if you turn off uniform scaling, you can do squishing and stretching. So I noticed that this hat, the proper direction is the Z axis. So let's see if I squish it 80% in the Z direction. What does that want to do? All right, so that is close to what I'm going for, but I think the squishing is a little too extreme. So let me go back into scale and change that to 0.85. Good. Let's see. I like it. I really like how that looks. And now let's go ahead and apply my little music note dude onto the surface here. And actually, let me roll this forward. So here's all our surfacing work. It's very high rebuild time features, so I don't want to have to wait through that. So I froze them all. All right, so features wrap is right here. We're gonna wrap using this sketch on this surface. And actually, I need to switch it to spline surface. And then we should be able to feed this one in. That's looking good, and I'll set the distance to something like that, 25 thousandths. See what that wants to do. All right, so that has worked out wonderfully. That is super, super good. I'm happy with that. I may have to scoot it up a little bit, but then again, I like the way it looks. All right, so now what to do about these sweeps? Because I do want the stitch pattern back in, so it looks like I'm gonna have to do that manually, but it's no big deal. The first thing is, in order to match it up with these other ones, I need to know what those measurements are. And actually, that's something I should have taken before I scaled it, but that's okay, since I can roll this back up, and I can just quickly undo that. So first, let's find out what diameter I have to sweep this to get the same result. So unfortunately, if I go to my evaluate measure, thing that usually tells you the radius of stuff, it's not very informative. It just gives you an area and a perimeter. And that's because it's a complicated surface. It's not just a cylinder, so it can't tell you the radius. So is all hope lost? Fortunately, we have another trick up our sleeves, and that is the check command right here. So if I go to the check command, so this is the thing that import Diagnostics likes to run to check if there's any invalid faces, edges, or open surfaces. But instead of checking for all of that, so let me untick those, I can check for minimum radius of curvature. And instead of doing the entire hat, I can just do selected items. I had my face pre-selected, so it threw it in. But if I don't, you might have to get a filter selection here to throw that in there, and then I can say check. All right, so it says minimum radius of curvature is 9 thousandths of an inch, and doubling that for the diameter, so that's 20 thousandths for the 20 thousandths for the sweep. So yeah, we'll roll with that. So that's one piece of information down. But the next thing is, how far are these spaced apart? So I can check that out. And actually, let me turn off my filter. I can check that out. Yeah, let's do this. If I sketch on the top plane here and then grab, yeah, this one has the same, does it? Yeah, it has the same V-shaped groove, so I definitely want to ignore that. I'm just gonna check the distance from one side to the other, you know, using the same left side. It should be a good approximation for the center to center distance. Convert. So that should give me 2 lines. All right, and now I'm just gonna get a smart dimension, and that'll give me a driven dimension. So 0.35, I can even put the accuracy up. So it's, you know, 0.35 and some change. I'm not looking to be that accurate, but in the end, I do want to get like a pretty decent like render or a screenshot. So I'll just probably call it 350 thousandths and call it a day. Let me get out of that. So we have the 2 pieces of information we need. And now we should be able to take care of our sweeps. Oh, and actually, to get the sweep path in there, yeah, in order to get the sweep path, I'm gonna have to go before the wrap because this is blocking the path. Let me hide that sketch because I don't need it. All right, so making our path. Let's see. Yeah, I might want a plane that is perpendicular to the hatch. That might be convenient for me. So let's do this. If I go to reference geometry plane, so this edge that I'm hovering over lies along one plane. So if I click that, it should be the one and only thing required to fully define a new plane. So let's do that. And we'll sketch. And now let's start drawing our sweep path. We'll just draw them as straight lines. So let me focus my view here. There we go. That will suffice. So let's start with one there, right down the middle. Put another one over here. Yeah, I know I'm drawing this very far out, but I just want to make sure that I don't snap to anything by accident. Let's get a center line too, because that will be convenient if I make that horizontal. Yeah, just being careful not to snap to anything unintentional. So get my smart dimension, and I should be able to get a double dimension from a center line. So 0.035, and we just, 0.35, that was my mistake, 0.35, there we go. And the same thing, 0.35. All right, so that looks good, and I think that's all I'll do for one sketch. Yeah, I know it's going way too far out, but that doesn't matter because it's just going to be a reference to get the path on this, I guess what is now an oblate surface. All right, so that's looking good. So, I just thought about using a split line to split up these faces, but I believe that's going to mess with the wrap command here, so I want to avoid doing that. Instead, I will use the project curve. Okay, so we can go along a direction, so let's do plane 1. And the sketch, oh no, the face to project on is this one. And perfect, that is exactly what I want to see. Awesome. This is looking great. So I have those, and this is all before the wrap. I'm gonna do another path just to restore the stitches that used to be here. So let me sketch again. And I'm wondering, let's get a line, just kind of like that. And then I could say that this, I wonder if this edge will project into a straight line. Oops, get my edge filter. So edge, and this, can I make these parallel? I sure can, that is awesome. That is great. And then now, yeah, let me get a center line in here. Yeah, so if I do something like this, let me get my edge filter again so I don't have to keep trying to select this little squirrely thing. So here to here, let's make collinear. And that should work out. Let me Control 8 again. All right, yeah, that's working out for us. So let's get our dimension tool here to here. Whoops, that's the wrong value. Here to here, other side, yes, 0.35. All right, and that'll work for the one side. I'm trying to think if I should get, should I make the other line as well? Or actually, I can just mirror it, I think. Yeah, let me just do that. And let me make sure not to snap to anything weird by just setting horizontal manually. So that and this, these two things, I control selected them, say mirror entities, and yes, now we have one on the other side. And let's again do that same project curve step. Yeah, that's the good stuff. All right, now we have our sweep paths. Now I can roll forward. So now I have the wrap where I need it to be, and now I have these. I have these paths here for the sweep. So let's do that. So going to my features, sweep or swept boss base, can set it to circular profile. And remember, this was 10 thousandths radius, so that's 0.20 thousandths diameter. Should be able to select one of these. Maybe I need selection manager. Let's do that. No, it doesn't like it. All right, doesn't like the project curves for some reason. So let's do this. If I open up a 3D sketch, and let's just convert these. So if I do convert, and let's just grab all of these. Here, here, here. Hit OK. All right, now we have these as a 3D sketch. And now we should be able to proceed. So let's see what that wants to do. Go into our swept boss base. Set it to circular profile. Set it to 20 thousandths. And now can I click this? All right, so it's bringing up our selection manager at least. Let's see. Oh, yep, it's there. It's just really small. All right, that works out quite nicely. Let's do that. Yeah, and there we go. There's one of them. So let me hide these two curves and bring back our 3D sketch. Let's do rinse and repeat. Oops, circular profile. Let me X out of that. This. I just want the one segment. Yeah, since these are all not connected, I'm gonna have to do them separately. 0.02. Okay, I might be able to mirror it over though. Yeah, this didn't complete either, but I might be able to fix that as well. And let's see. Now for this. Sweep. Clear. Selection. Let's get that. 0.02. All right, that seems to be working out for us. That looks good there. That looks good there. Again, some garbage over here. But let me see if I can mirror it first before I switch it over. So that should be along the front plane. If I mirror Sweep 3 and sweep 2. Just to save me some time. That would be nice. Alright. That has worked out nicely for us. Let's take care of some of the geometry. I can hide the 3D sketch away. And I think I should be able to take care of that with a delete face. So surfaces, delete face. If I do delete and patch, what does that want to do? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So that is what I'm going for. Let me go ahead and select the other faces. So this, we have that face that doesn't quite connect. That face can go connect. That face can go connect. See what that wants to do. Due to geometry condition. Okay, maybe it's these interfaces here. So if I take that out and that out, does it want to proceed? All right, sure does. So it's something about this. Delete and patch. All right, doesn't like it. So what I could do, let's see. I might just leave it for right now. If it shows up in the screenshots, I'll go ahead and fix them. But definitely if I was trying to like 3D print or, you know, throw it to a CNC, I would definitely have to fix that. But considering the purpose of my modeling, I'm just going to ignore that for right now. But at any rate, let's go ahead and make some colors here. So go here. Yeah, actually, let's do this first. Let's just clear all the colors. Just get a blank slate. So beach ball, remove all part appearances. Are you sure? Yes. All right, so everything's gray now. And now let's add an appearance for the overall part. Let's make it close to black. So let's do like that. And that looks pretty cool. And let's add another appearance. I'll make the little dude white or a little bit off-white. I don't want to be, you know, bright white. Oh, shoot. Let me clear. There we go. And set it. Let's add a feature. So if I go here, because I can just add, we have a feature now. We can add the wrap in there. That looks pretty good. And actually to add yet another color, can add a bunch of faces. And what I'll do is select the stitch faces, which might take a little bit of time, so might speed this part up. All right, so that took a little bit of work here, but the nice thing is after that, if I want to change the color of this again, I can just go to this edit appearance and then change either the main color, the embroider color, or the stitch color. So if I want to change that to red, you know, I don't have to select all those faces again. I just go into the appearances and just play around with it. But I'm just going to leave it as a goldish appearance. Something like that. And if I take out the edges, yeah, that looks pretty good. So now I can go ahead and send this to my friend to see if he likes that, or if anything needs to be changed, if colors need to be changed or something like that. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope these techniques will empower you to work with these dumb solids a little bit more often. And, you know, with just a little bit of practice, you can really do whatever you want. It's almost like you won't even miss the history tree. Almost, at least. But at any rate, don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell so you know when my video comes out. You have a good day, and I'll see you next time.